Dr.
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke,
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus,
Yes.
Mrs. Costa,
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
Next, I'll make a motion to seal the closed session minutes of April 9, 2025. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. Dr. McGee, roll call.
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke,
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus,
Yes.
Mrs. Costa,
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
In closed session, the committee voted 5-0 to approve the superintendent's recommendation and to enter into a settlement agreement with a teacher. Will you please stand and join me for the moment of silence and pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe we're going to begin with a presentation from the Hamlet Middle School. So I'll ask our principal, Jen Renegaldo, and assistant principal, Amy Esposito, to lead the way.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry about that. All right, may I please ask the school committee to come down and have a seat with your name tags are with your partners. Yep. Does this thing come off?
No, my driver's
Okay,
coming.
maybe. I think it does. Good, how are you?
She better move it.
I think it comes off. Okay. How are you? Make you work.
Wait, I want to ride.
That's good.
Hopefully I don't flunk. Oh, we're going there. Oh, we're going there.
Work.
That's where I usually
Lord.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're ready. Okay, so as a school committee, I know you have had an experience with the 101 mat from the instructional empowerment. The 101 mat is used to summarize our thinking. As you know, the Woonsocket Education Department integrates a variety of research-based approaches to support our model of instruction, giving teachers the autonomy to select the best resources and tools. This empowers them to create rigorous, student-centered learning experiences that actively engage and stimulate students' thinking.
So tonight, you're going to have the opportunity to use Instructional Empowerment 201 mat. This mat, and I'm loud enough, right? I think so.
Okay.
So this mat focuses on connecting people. So we're kind of moving up in what we are doing skill-wise. We are really going to have to actively listen to one another in order to be able to connect our. For time's sake tonight, you're going to be connecting your new learning around popsicles and potato chips. However, I'm sure after your experience, you'll be able to connect how this tool can be used in classrooms for standards-based learning. In social studies, we've used it to make connections between ancient African civic life and U.S. civic life. In math, we use it to help students understand multiplication of fractions by connecting their learning around a visual area model and number lines. In science, you connect ideas like how tiny particles move heat and how energy levels can change in a system, understanding the whole picture of how heat
Okay, and as Mrs. Custer continues introducing components of the 201 toolkit, students will begin to develop the next level of agency skills. Okay, so with your partner, I'm going to ask that you please read your article, discuss your new learning with your shoulder partner, and then you're going to write your new learning as a pair on the mat.
So your new learning, so what you learned from it here, the group of you guys do the red, what your new learning is, you put on there. And then once you look at both sets of new learning, you're going to figure out what the connection you see the two together between the new learning. You can write on it, write on it. I don't know how we do this. So I think our new learning. Make sure you're talking with your partner about your new learning. He's not gonna fight you, I promise. These legs.
Okay. No, it's not ready yet. I'm just, so now they're going to be sharing their new learning with the groups across from each other. And then in the other box, they're going to be writing things that are either the same or different about their new learning. Okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
They always come.
Wash your hands before you come back. And then I gave them these.
He doesn't care. You do best.
Lays or lies. But we also look at. Like that.
Yes, I am. Are you kidding? Of course I am.
You can hear them come.
I'm glad this was pushed to tonight. So then we could give it the actual time it needed.
He was too gone.
Mrs. Esposito.
Yep. Okay. Now, you're going to put your mats together to form a quad with the people that are sitting across from you. So the red and the blue, slide your mats together. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to share your new learning with each other. Discuss how your new learning is the same or different, and record it on the mat between the arrows.
Right accident. I think we agree on here.
No.
Yes, so how are they the same and how are they different between your information and the group across from you?
They're the same. Oh, you didn't do the pages? I didn't know that. Oh, okay. I thought you were cheating. But you could have been.
So they were both done by accident.
Yeah.
Did he name it after?
Why not?
Himself?
Before you go to that, I want one little
Okay, he started. Yeah, yeah. And then ours became very popular. You want to share yours?
I need to. Oh, he
Yeah.
wanted to go.
Because he named it after himself. Good thing he did it.
So our days was.
Yeah. He wants them to really like engage with the material.
Yeah.
1905. What year was yours? Oh, yours is a lot older.
Same grade?
This was all. It's a good save there. Yes. But how old was your person that did it?
Both been around for a long time. There you go.
Connection. 11-year-old boy.
11-year-old boy created it? Did someone ask for it? Because somebody complained about regular potatoes. That made them.
Put that in. And we'll go to this. And that'll be it. So before we go to this, to kind of wrap this up, I want you to say that. Because this is a big piece of it, right? Because I learned from, yeah.
I did.
Just tell me when. Tell me when.
Well, we never made potato chips.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Notice that by having each pair learn about different topics, you had to be interdependent of one another. So I want to thank you for participating tonight. Thank you. The 201 MAT provides many opportunities for students to develop the competencies for success, which are essential for graduation. You were tonight effective communicators, critical thinkers, problem solvers, reflective thinkers, and creators of new learning. So thank you. I want to thank the students that came out tonight too. And thank you, Mrs. Custer. Mrs. Custer, can you take down the names of everybody so we can get lunch for tomorrow? Huh? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Better than yours? Way better. Is that why he? Yeah.
How do I put this? Thank you.
It'd be fine because you have no EDA problem.
You don't, that's, I mean, you know.
It would have been fine.
They got elevators.
I agree. I don't know. I didn't set up the meeting.
And the second floor, we don't, usually is empty, I would think.
Maybe that's the issue. I don't know. Okay, where are we?
I'm actually comfortable for a change. Half your meeting.
Before we go on into public comment, I want to thank our principals and our students for one great exercise. Learned a lot about popsicles and potato chips. Great job. Now we'll go into good and welfare. Is there anyone, if anyone want to address the school committee during good and welfare, please begin with your name and address. Your comments shall be no more than 5 minutes of speaking time and should be in good decorum. Please be aware that the committee cannot respond to you during good and welfare, but may direct you to an appropriate member of the administration team or may meet with you directly after the meeting for further discussion. Is there anyone who wants to address the school committee this evening?
Hello, my name is Kiana Bergeron, and I live on Rivulet Street in Woonsocket. I just came to address the cancellation of, on the last and the next CLAC meeting. Parents, including myself, are collectively frustrated about the last-minute cancellation of the CLAC meeting. Despite my efforts to gather parents and provide valuable opportunities for them to learn, receive information, and advocate for their children, the meeting was canceled with minimal notice. It's concerning that the parents who were eager to participate were adequately informed. Understanding emergencies do happen, the last-minute cancellation caused an inconvenience and a disappointment for parents who are very interested in looking forward to becoming proactive in their children's education. Furthermore, I'm disappointed to hear that there won't be a meeting next month. Given the importance of these gatherings, I believe it's essential to reschedule or find alternative solutions to ensure parents can stay informed and engaged. And I ask if we can explore options, rescheduling or adjusting the format of future meetings to better serve our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to address the school committee?
Good evening. My name is Shauna Lee Gonzalez, and I reside at 86 Borden Boulevard, Woonsocket. I'm here today as concerned parent to address the persistent bullying my third grader, rephrase that, my third grade daughter has endured at Globe Park Elementary School. Since starting public school, my daughter has been subjected to verbal abuse, physical harm, and threats. Incidents include being shoved, having glue put in her hair, and being treated with physical harm. This year, the situation has escalated with threats of physical violence, recent bruising, and repeated verbal abuse, including death threats. Despite my consistent efforts to address these issues with the principal, meaningful resolutions have been lacking until last week's incident brought the severity of the situation of the forefront. Why did it take my daughter to be physically harmed before the situation received attention? As a result, my daughter feels unsafe riding the school bus and attending school, which is significantly impacting her mental health. She's also expressed a desire to be homeschooled or attend a different school. As her mother, I'm compelled to ask, what specific actions will the school committee take to ensure my child's safety and well-being? I look forward to hearing your response and working together to find solutions to protect my child's physical and emotional well-being, along with any other child that could be in this situation as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to address the school committee?
Good evening, Lynn Kapiskis, 163 Prospect Street, Woonsocket. I am the chair of the Woonsocket Special Education Local Advisory Committee, or CELAC, and I have been the chair for the last 19 years. I serve in that capacity as a parent who also has a child with special needs, who is now an adult, age 23. Last Thursday, which was the originally scheduled date for our April CELAC meeting, I was forced to cancel at the last minute due to a personal emergency. I have an elderly lady that I care for. I received a notification at 5:55 that she had fallen and was being transported to the hospital. I did my best to notify everyone on the email list that I have of parents who've attended prior meetings. If you attended a prior meeting or provided me with your email address, you received a notification as soon as I knew that I was departing my office to head to Rhode Island Hospital where she was being transported. This is the first time I have ever canceled a meeting on an emergency basis like that. I'm sorry that the parent was inconvenienced, but frankly, the meetings are virtual. And I have not had a parent at a meeting, not one single meeting, this entire school year. I had no way to know who was in the waiting room. I don't control that. I simply lead the meeting, take the notes, and report back to the school committee, as is my duty as CELAC chair. I'm not paid. I'm not an employee of the school department, and I did my level best. I did apologize to the parents that contacted me as soon as I was back from the hospital taking care of my friend, that the meeting was canceled on an emergency basis. Again, I apologize for the inconvenience. No disrespect was intended, and frankly, a little bit of patience might have been appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the school committee?
Good evening. Donald Burke, 59 Edmund Street. And as you know, I'm a person that wears many hats. Right now, I am wearing proudly my Woonsocket Education Department School Committee hat, but I'm going to take it off. And I'm going to put on my fishing derby hat for the Woonsocket Elks, Woonsocket Lodge Elks number 850. Because I want to announce for the last time this week that with the Woonsocket Elks, we'll be putting on a fishing derby this Saturday morning from 6 to 11. And I have to say, sadly, it will be rain or shine. The fish doesn't mind if it rains, I guess. But we'll be here. We'll be here. It's for children ages 12 and under. We have a great day planned, no matter the weather. We will be giving out prizes for the heaviest fish, for the heaviest 5 fish together. We will be giving out gifts throughout the whole morning, having raffles. We will also be feeding all the participants with hot dogs, juice, water, everything. And also, we will be giving out trophies from the city. And also, through anonymous Elks donors, we have a bike for a girl and a bike for a boy, which will be given. So we hope we get the numbers of the students to come, the children to come this Saturday morning. Last year, we had 123 students, 23 kids with families. They're there by 5 o'clock, getting ready for their spots. And at 6 o'clock, I announce poles in the water. and that's when the fishing can begin. So I just want to make a final announcement to the students of Woonsocket who have been receiving notices about this for the last several weeks, that it's this Saturday, April 12th. Be there, 6 o'clock. Thank you, and pray for good weather.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the school committee? Seeing none, we will go to recognitions and announcements. Dr. McGee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am going to recognize some pretty special students from Woonsocket High School. I'm going to begin with the Woonsocket High School debate team. Mr. Simonini, the debate coach who's here this evening with some of his debaters, said that the high school has had a long history of participation and success in policy debate. We were a founding school in the Rhode Island Urban Debate League and frequently sent students to national events. When the Rhode Island Urban Debate League became insolvent and disbanded, there was some concern that Woonsocket students would not have access to this beneficial type of forensic speech activity. Fortunately, a generous offer from the Boston Debate League to join their community and an equally generous commitment from the district to support the new costs associated with involvement in the Boston Debate League has meant that Woonsocket students could continue to participate in an activity that had been shown to positively influence four-year online completion of both high school and four-year college graduation. There was some question whether Woonsocket, frequently the big fish in a small pond in Rhode Island, could equally flourish in the much larger Boston League, where as many as 5 times the number of schools compete at each level of competition. We are pleased to report that Woonsocket High School has had a remarkable 2 years of successful competition with a first-place finish at the novice level in their first year, and this year garnering the title of city champions at the junior varsity level. Accordingly, this evening, we'd like to honor several of our team members after their very successful year. So if the committee would join me on the other side of the dais, I am going to recognize students from the debate team.
Sorry, I didn't have it ready.
We're getting really good at this. So some of our debaters are here this evening. Some could not be here. But Mr. Simonini, if you would come up to the stage with us, please. Thank you, Mr. Simonini. Amanda's here. Amanda's here. Melody is there. Okay, so I'm going to start. So I'm going to start with Amanda Pierre-Paul. And yes, let's give Amanda a round of applause. I'm just going to read a little bit. Amanda has been recognized this year for excellence in speech and debate. She's the 2025 Boston Debate League first place JV city champion. She's also first place JV team Boston Debate League Tournament 4. Amanda, come on up. Our next debater is Melody Robinson. Melody's recognized for excellence in speech and debate and is also the fourth place JV team Boston Debate League Tournament 3. Congratulations, Melody.
Thank you, sir.
Don't leave yet. Next, I'm going to recognize some of our Woonsocket High School student athletes, specifically our Woonsocket High School indoor track athletes. I'm going to start with junior Shamrock Thune. Shamrock had one of the greatest prep indoor weight seasons in the history of the United States. He was able to string together a multitude of wins and personal records throughout the season. He started by winning the Beantown Holiday Challenge, Marine Corps Invitational, Yale Invitational, and the East Coast Invitational. He was the division, class, and state champion, but he culminated his year by winning the Nike Indoor National Championship and New Balance Indoor National Championship on back-to-back days in New York, then Boston. He followed that up on the following weekend with another national championship crown at the Adidas Indoor Nationals in Virginia Beach. Shamrock is now a 7-time All-American and a 4-time national champion. He ended the season with a massive personal record of 82 feet, 6.25 inches, which ranks number 11 all-time in the United States. I am very proud to welcome junior from Woonsocket High School, Shamrock Thune. If you would come up, Shamrock.
That is amazing. Well deserved. Congratulations.
Our next student athlete is senior Isabella Bella Piet. Bella, who earlier this year committed and signed an athletic scholarship to Division I Belmont University, had a fantastic senior indoor track season. She was the United States number 16 ranked in the weight throw with a new school record of 52 feet 6 inches. She was division champion in the shot put and all division in the weight throw. She was all class in both events and all state in the shot put. She was able to qualify for nationals in the weight throw and made the finals at the Nike Indoor Nationals, placing 8th in the country. Going into her last track season as a Villanovan, Bella is a 6-time All-American, state champion, multiple-time All-Stater, and All-New England athlete, and holds and shares 4 school records. Bella Piet. Our next student athlete is senior Adelaide Karen. Adelaide earlier this year committed and signed an athletic scholarship to Division I, University of Virginia. The 2024 New Balance Outdoor Hammer National Champion ended in the United States as the number 26 thrower for the weight throw. She scored and placed multiple points for the team and was an all-New England weight thrower this season. She was able to qualify for the national championships, where she placed 15th in the country at the Nike Indoor National Championships. Going into her last track season as a Villanovan, Adelaide is a 4-time All-American, a 2-time state champion, New England champion, and holds or shares 5 school records. Adelaide Karen. As we know, all great debaters have a great debate coach. All great student athletes have a great coach. I'd like to recognize Mr. Piet, who's here this evening, who is our Woonsocket High School track and field coach. Thank you. While we're up here, I may as well finish. Kindergarten registration for the 2025-2026 school year. I'm pleased to inform you that registrations are now open to the public for the 25-26 school year. Any student turning 5 years of age before September 1st, 2025 is eligible for kindergarten. Only the custodial parent, legal guardian can officially enroll a student. You may find the registration forms on the district's website and also register online at www.woonsocketschools.com. If you prefer to register in person, please come to Central Registration, which is located at the McPhee Administration Building at 108 High Street here in Woonsocket. Please keep in mind that registrations are not complete until all documents are received. With that, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my recognitions and announcements.
Wait, we're gonna have pictures. We're gonna have pictures. Angie, yeah.
Student athletes, Mr. Piet.
People wanted to be on the track team because it said on the side of their sweatpants, WTF. It's like a track and field, but everybody said, you know, what the.
Oh, yeah.
I think they changed that now. Guns on this kid. Oh.
Thank you. Nice job, nice job. All righty.
With that, I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the recognitions and announcements. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, the approval of minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the March 26, 2025 open meeting minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. Any changes to those minutes? Dr. McGee, please.
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke.
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
Yes.
Mrs. Costa.
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
Next, the consent agenda. I'll make a motion to approve, to discuss and approve the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. Does anybody want to take anything out of the consent agenda for discussion? Dr. McGee?
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke.
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
Yes.
Mrs. Costa.
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
Ms. Sanchez, I'll ask you for your report.
Thank you, thank you. So going back to the last meeting, I had touched upon Skills USA. We since then have had our awards night ceremony with all of the schools in Rhode Island that have competed, and we actually have gold medalists, silver medalists, and bronze medalists, some of which were already recognized in some posts within the school district, but I just wanted to mention again. For gold medalists, we have three. We have Evan Conoyer, who competed in electrical construction wiring, Faith Paskanik in advertising design, and David Vega in t-shirt design. Silver medalists were Carson Violette and Allison Vuana in digital cinema production. That was a team event. And then bronze medalists, we have Trinity Maduro, and Katie Verrier in digital cinema production as well. And then lastly, Ariana Hay, Isabella Piet, Angelia Ortiz, and myself in Health Knowledge Bowl. That was for bronze. Luckily for the first placers, they will get the opportunity to compete at Nationals, which is in Atlanta, Georgia this year. Next, going on within the school, we have our spring pep rally vacation send-off. High schoolers and teachers will be able to participate in a pep rally this Friday. I have, since typing my report, have learned that it's cultural themed, so we try to have at least one cultural pep rally each year, and student council has chosen to make this one the one. And so students are encouraged to wear clothing or bring items like flags from their culture to represent in the stands. Senior portfolios, it's official as of yesterday. All seniors should have completed and presented their portfolios, so congrats to them. That's one big step. They have persevered and completed all learning competencies, and just a few more weeks, and then we're off to graduation, which is so exciting. And then lastly, senior trip and prom. For those who aren't aware, the senior trip will be at Block Island on June 4th. It is $65 for busing, food, and entertainment provided by Ballards, which is kind of like the area that we'll be set up in. For the details regarding arrival and departure times will be released soon. And then last point, senior and junior prom will be held on May 30th at the Graduate in Providence for $75 a ticket. The theme is masquerade, and tickets can be paid in increments or all at once, depending on what the student is able to do. And yeah, that concludes it.
Thank you very much. Anyone have comments for our student representative? Vice Chair Burke.
There's one thing you forgot to remind us again. What's coming up the first weekend of May?
Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia.
I feel like I give at least 1 point at it for every meeting, so I'm like, let me chill out a little bit. But yes, Mamma Mia coming up May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. On the 3rd, we have 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Thank you.
That's great. Anyone else? I'll make a motion to receive and place on file our student representative's report. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Dr. McGee, I'll ask you for your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee has the updated, here it is, the updated staffing changes. I'd also like to let the committee know that we currently have 1 teaching vacancy. We have 1 psychologist vacancy, 3 assistant principal vacancies, and 15 paraprofessional vacancies across the district. The team here continues to try and fill as many of these positions as we can. This is about as low as we've been all year, so we're continuing to make every attempt to fill these positions. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the committee may have about any of our staffing,
Anyone?
our positions.
Nope.
Okay. Second agenda item is a safety update. I just wanted to notify the school committee that a couple of things. Number one, the committee already knows because it's on our agenda this evening to discuss discuss and approve the school committee subcommittee district-wide workplace climate and safety group, which we are going to be organizing. That is going to be a group, and we'll talk more about it when we get to that agenda item, but that's going to be a group that's going to be looking district-wide with respect to safety. And we are also, I've had a meeting with the union president and vice president, and they just today sent me a list of union members who will be serving on our specific school-wide safety teams. So we'll be having a principal, the principal from each school, as well as a union member, which will serve in 2 roles: the union member and the staff member from the school, as well as myself, Dr. Holt, and Mrs. Morel. So those are the two bits of information I just wanted to pass along. You remember at the last meeting, There were many staff members here who were concerned about safety, so we've addressed that with the union. And as I said then, and I say it now, I'm committed and we're committed to working with the union to ensure that everyone comes to our district feeling safe and secure. So with that, I would open it up to any questions that the committee may have.
I know we're going to talk about the district-wide committee, subcommittee, but in terms of the individual school committees for basically the workplace environment within each school, you mentioned a union representative. Are you also including the principals? Who's going to?
Yes, the
principal?
So it'll be specific to each school.
Okay,
The principal will be a part of that.
okay.
Yes.
And I would think that as issues, or obviously the biggest part of this has to be communications. And if there's issues that arise, they are going to be handled as soon as possible. I mean, we're not going to wait, or they're not going to be waited. I mean, I would think, since you're going to be on that, along with Dr. Holt and Ms. Morel, that issues will be taken care of immediately, and we're not going to wait like we saw, we heard last
So
time.
I think the most important part is we're all going to be on the same page, and it'll be specific to each school. We still have to follow the protocols and the procedures, right? That's a given. But I'm hopeful that this will get together the staff from each building, or representative staff from each building, the administrator from each building, central office, and the union.
Okay.
So I think that if we can do that, we can attempt to get out in front of potential concerns and issues. But as you said, it's important that we communicate about these things. And I think that it's important in a district-wide level to communicate, but it's just as important, if not more important, to communicate at each building level as well.
I think it's more important at the school level. We're going to get the reports and a subcommittee, but obviously the work gets done at the school level, at the individual school level.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, just to
Vice Chair Burke.
understand it, you mentioned there'll be staff from each building?
Yes.
And they are not union officers, they're teachers?
So the union officers are teachers in the buildings. So
The only teachers are union officers on this committee?
So I have a list that the union submitted to me of the union officers. In addition to that, I'm open to having staff members who may not be union officers.
Okay, that's what I was asking, yeah.
On that as well.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's fine. I'm not, necessarily going to exclude anyone. If somebody would like to be on it, then I would be in favor of that. I mean, we
No,
can't.
I'm just saying, it should be opened up to,
It is.
all teachers,
We
not
can't
just-
have 10 teachers on it,
no.
but absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Then I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the superintendent's report. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, we'll go into the school subcommittee reports. Ms. Kepiscus, am I right that the CLAC meeting was canceled due to an emergency?
Yes, Mr. Chair, as you are made aware, that the school, and you're on my email list, you got my email,
Yes.
that due to a personal emergency, the select meeting, virtual meeting was canceled about 5 minutes before it was scheduled to take place, and I apologize to everyone for that. And I notified as many people as I possibly could in terms of contact, but if I don't have your email, there was no way for me to notify you. And unfortunately, there just wasn't time in the turnaround to send an announcement out through the listserv of to the families that the meeting had been canceled. As I said, everything happened very quickly. And I've picked this opportunity to say that I've expressed my disappointment each and every time we've had meetings that there are no parents there. It makes me sad that apparently there were parents that had planned to attend this meeting. And it just worked out that was the one that I couldn't have. And I'm also taking this opportunity to let people know that, yes, there is no meeting in May because there is a semi-annual meeting of all the CELAC chairs across the state called the Special Education Advisory Network that happens in November and March of each year. We all get together with representatives from RIDE and representatives from RIPIN to advise each other with regard to what's going on in the districts, and so they can advise us as to what's going on the state level and what programming RIPIN has to offer information that I share with parents who are on my email list each and every month. As I receive them, I send them out to you. So I am attending that Sean meeting. It will likely be my last Sean meeting. And I will be attending that meeting on behalf of the district to report back to anyone who shows up for the June meeting what happened at that meeting in May of the Sean. And the meeting in June will be the last meeting of this school year. It will be on the first Thursday in June. And as I've been saying for the last 6 years that I've been sitting on this committee, I need a parent replacement. I should not be serving in this capacity any longer. Because I think there's a misunderstanding that people think that it's somehow related to my service on the school committee. I served as CELAC chair 3 times as long as I've been on this school committee. It has no relationship whatsoever. But I should not serve in both capacities. And I would really love for another special needs parent to step forward and take over. And no one has been willing. If I can't get someone to go to a meeting, I'm certainly not going to find anybody willing to take over a parent leadership position, which is disappointing and unfortunately is endemic in education across the nation, where parents are simply not invested in their children's education anymore, but for very limited instances, and it's very frustrating. It's especially frustrating to me as I'd like to say, reform parent leader who participated in every organization for my children through their careers. I was on SIT teams. I was on PTOs, PTAs. I served on the PAC when we had a PAC. I've run the CELAC forever, found a brief replacement, then COVID happened and my replacement said, no, I'm done. And I was back in. I would love to find a replacement. I sell this advertisement at every single CELAC meeting. I'm taking this opportunity to broadcast it to a larger community tonight.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kapiskas. Any questions for her? Then, even though we didn't have a meeting, you did give us an update, so I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the CELAC update. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, I'll ask Ms. Kapiskas and Vice Chair Brick to give us the policy subcommittee update.
Well, since she didn't really give a full CELAC, she could.
I think you're right.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I haven't had an opportunity to speak tonight, so I really appreciate it.
There you go.
The policy subcommittee met yesterday at 4 p.m. We had 3 policies on our agenda, as we generally do. The first policy we addressed was the student discipline policy. This policy has been reviewed by legal counsel, and they've recommended the proposed changes in order to make the process less cumbersome and make the evaluation to determine discipline through the process simpler. In short, the application for in-school suspension as discipline will be treated much like the application of detention as discipline, as it does not include any deprivation of learning as part of the punishment. The proposed changes streamline and simplify the out-of-district suspension process, as it should be differentiated from in-school suspension, as it does result in a potential deprivation of learning. The amendment provides less of a process for suspension periods of 10 days or less, but still different from that of in-school suspensions, while providing the necessary protections for suspensions greater than 10 days. In the event of an emergency suspension, a hearing is still required but can be done after the suspension is imposed. There's no change to the out-of-school suspension. When the out-of-school suspension is permitted, the process remains the same, and those circumstances under which out-of-school suspension are available is very limited, and it's limited by state law and RIDE regulations. Currently, RIDE no longer has specific regulations guiding the process, although it does guide the circumstances under which the option is available. Those guidelines were removed and have not been replaced, essentially leaving it to the districts to set up their own processes, guided only by constitutional law. The subcommittee then turned to the issue of other deprivations as part of discipline. In particular, a member asked if this discipline policy is inconsistent with our current field trip policy. Council assured the subcommittee that it is not. The loss of a field trip is an option, but due consideration should be given to the loss of the field trip, which would result in an educational loss, as our field trip policy links an educational purpose to all field trips. In short, there is no rule that can be set in stone. The administrator making the decision simply must do what is appropriate for that student in the moment. When asked if this new policy will satisfy the demands of our unions made at our recent school committee meeting, it was made clear that this likely would not resolve those issues. It is simply not possible in Rhode Island to remove all troublesome students from the district by expulsion, as expulsion is illegal under state law. Furthermore, this proposed change to the student discipline policy has been contemplated before the prior school committee meeting. Elementary school principal reminded all present that it is really the same small percentage of students who are causing problems over and over every day. There is no easy solution. Dr. McGee expressed concerns at the proposed appeal process for out-of-district suspensions and asked if, under the proposed policy, a parent or student requested an appeal, was the student still suspended, or was that suspension stayed pending the superintendent's decision? Council clarified that there is no stay of the suspension at the district level pending an appeal. That suspension begins on the next school day, whether or not there was an appeal hearing that has occurred. If the superintendent determines the suspension was wrongfully imposed, he can direct that it be expunged from the student's record even after it's been served. However, if a parent skips the step of appealing to the superintendent and appeals directly to RIDE can and sometimes does issue an order stating the effectiveness of the suspension pending the appeal, but it is not required to do so and often does not stay the suspension pending appeal. However, under our policy, the suspension is to be served while the appeal is pending. Under the policy, which is drafted in accordance with state law, there should be no learning loss for students serving an out-of-state suspension anyway, because state law, particularly the Basic Education Plan, or the BEP law, requires that an alternative learning program be offered to students during periods of out-of-school suspensions. The subcommittee decided to forward this proposed policy to the full school committee for its discussion and approval, and it will be on our next agenda. The next policy is the non-union benefits policy. There are two proposed changes, one minor, one more significant. The minor change is retitling a position in the district from automation specialist to data administrator. The person currently in this position is retiring, and the position will be posted as a new job with a new job description. The significant change is with the addition of a new section 11, which would provide that if a non-union employee goes on a work-related injury, they shall be required to spend down their accrued sick time so as to provide that they receive 100% of their salary during their absence, as opposed to the state rate, which is less than 70%. We weren't exactly sure of what the percentage is, but it was in the 60s. Significant concerns were raised about the language which makes this mandatory. It is noted, as it has been noted in the past, all but 2 members of the subcommittee are non-union employees who would be impacted by this non-union benefits policy. The finance director raised this issue that has been raised each time the policy has been reviewed for amendment. Whether changes to the non-union benefits policy, any change amounts to a unilateral amendment of every single non-union employee's contract without any renegotiation or approval by that non-union employee. Rather, it was again suggested that each policy term should be individually included in each contract, as opposed to the use of a non-union benefits policy, which, extraneous to their contracts, impacts each and every non-union employee. Council advised that she did not see a real problem, as each contract provides that the non-union employee is bound only by the policy in effect on the date their contract goes into effect, and that any changes made during the term of their contract would only impact them when they executed their new contract. Many present indicated that there was no negotiation of their contracts when they're renewed. They're simply presented for signature. In light of this discussion, the subcommittee decided to hold this policy until our next meeting, with a request that Attorney Sarah Rapport attend, as she actually discussed the proposed change with our HR director and superintendent. So that policy was held. The next was the student-teacher interim policy. This policy has been discussed at a prior meeting, but due to an error, an outdated draft was attached to the agenda, so we couldn't approve it. With the updated policy in hand, the subcommittee continued to review in light of RIDE's new student teaching requirements. The policy is intended to make sure all parties, the colleges sending, the students attending, the cooperating teachers who will supervise, and the administrators of the buildings are aware that these agreements cannot be made in a vacuum, and that the HR department of the WED must be included in the process so that all of our requirements and those of RIDE are being addressed, including but not limited to BCI check run on the student at the student's expense, compliance with our students' confidentiality policies, designation of an email address for the student, teacher, or intern, mandatory participation in our annual legal training. The cooperating teacher must have at least 3 years of teaching experience and must be vetted by the building administrator to serve in that capacity. Our attorney also suggested adding language which permits the WED to terminate the internship or student teaching at the discretion of HR with a non-exhaustive list of employees why a student-teacher relationship might be terminated. A principal present expressed concern that 3 years of teaching experience might be insufficient for cooperating teacher to be chosen, as teachers with 3 years are often not even tenured yet. Although it was suggested that the district could lengthen that time, the principal expressed satisfaction as long as he would or she would have final say about the cooperating teacher's appropriateness and participation. HR expressed a need for a more detailed policy as the district often found itself in a position where the negotiation of a student teaching arrangement with a college and a cooperating teacher happens without HR being a participant. The only participants would be the college and the teacher themselves. This new policy clarifies that it will no longer happen as HR and the building administrator must be part of that discussion. In short, all requests must now go first through HR. The subcommittee decided to forward this proposed policy to the full school committee for discussion and approval, and it will be on our next agenda. After reviewing, as we always do, the list of potential pending policies for discussion, the subcommittee was advised that none were in a posture to move forward at this time, and as a result, the only policy currently scheduled for our next meeting was the continued dreaded discussion of the non-union benefits policy. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for May 13th, 2025, at 4 p.m., subject to the availability of Attorney Sarah Rapport. And with that, our meeting adjourned.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kapiskas.
Don't you feel like you were just there?
I even took a break during the meeting, yes.
Trust me, you can't feel the heat of the non-union benefits policy discussion.
I'm
I
sure
guarantee you.
can't. Except when we negotiate them, yeah. Any questions, comments from Mrs. Kapiskas? Then I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the Poly Subcommittee update. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Burke and Mrs. Costa. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Mr. Notoriani, would you give us your technology facilities report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as of this evening, or as of today, we have 54 overall technology work orders in the system. There are 31 that are technology infrastructure, of which we are waiting for parts for 11, and the remaining are ones that are work in progress. There are 16 related to data systems and state reporting, and the remaining 7 are broken Chromebooks that are in the process, are being processed. Our damaged Chromebook inventory and loaner program review was completed recently. We've created an inventory of damages and loaner devices available at the secondary level. We'll be revisiting our administrative procedures with our building principals regarding how the loaner program and damaged Chromebook process should be working in their buildings. Our overall review went longer than expected, resulting in us postponing a technology subcommittee, which we had planned on to discuss specific details, but we're hoping to schedule a meeting for after the April break. I did include in the memo, at Hamlet Middle School, there are 64 damaged Chromebooks. We've received 0 reimbursement as of today. At Villanova Middle School, there are a record of 80 damaged Chromebooks. We've received reimbursement for 14. And at the high school, there's 71 that were damaged, and we've received reimbursement for 5 of the damages there. But we will get into a more in-depth discussion at the tech subcommittee level regarding that and a few other items. Data and state reporting. RIDE recently developed and released data accountability tools that our building principals will be able to utilize when assessing pertinent data for the accountability system. Specifically, the tools allow principals to monitor student absenteeism, staff absenteeism, and out-of-school suspensions. These tools have been added to the enhanced RIDE data portal as a part of the overall transition to school-based management as enacted by the Rhode Island General Assembly. Later this month, I'll be having an open Google Meet for building principals to join and ask questions regarding how to use the system. Student registration, as Dr. McGee indicated earlier, student registration is open for the upcoming school year. As of today, we have 44 grade K student registrations for the next school year. We would like to encourage parents and guardians to register their students sooner rather than later. Facilities and custodial services. As of today, we have 99 work orders in the system. There are 49 work orders are assigned to our internal staff. The remaining 50 work orders are assigned to outside contractors or vendors as either a repair or a project. This is the first time we've been under 100 work orders, and I think it's worth noting, we started in September. I look back at my initial report for the school year. We are well over 340. So I think a big thank you needs to go out to the facility staff as they work relentlessly. And quite frankly, they work tirelessly to get our work orders down as quickly as possible. And they've kind of an unofficial slogan, basically show up to paint or get off the ladder is kind of the phrase or motto they've been running by. And I can say they've stepped up in the ladder and they've been painting quite rapidly this year. We are in the process of planning our summer projects and cleaning schedule. I'm hoping to roll that out sooner rather than later for the building principals because it'll inform the directors as to what we can and can't do in the buildings. Transportation, we continue to meet weekly with Durham School Services staff. The drop-off and pickup times have improved. They're not near where they need to be, but we have seen some measurable improvement based on some of the things that we've done so far. And we have contracted with Transpar to review our transportation needs for the upcoming school year. School safety, we continue to meet biweekly with our SROs and Detective Sergeant Kamer. We've decided to conduct a summer review of traffic patterns across our district. So you may recall, we had spoken earlier this year and we changed the traffic flow at the high school. It seemed to have worked out well. But rather than do any more changes during the school year, we don't want to upset staff and families and whatnot. We'll take a look over the summer and we'll make recommendations as to what we can do for the upcoming school year. And that concludes my update, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Notoriani, two things. Transpar, you said they're going to do it. Have they begun that review? Are we waiting to approve the last sets of contracts with through the building committee before they get their work done?
We received an email last week indicating, with a request for information from us. The directors, we all met as a team as we do every Monday to discuss the initial steps because there's information we need to provide. We've shared this request with the current transportation provider, Durham, because they need to provide their fleet information. And we're expecting a kickoff call with Transpar when we return from the April break.
Early in your report, you mentioned, did you have to buy new ladders? Is that it? Did you have for your team?
Plenty of ladders, plenty of paint, plenty of brushes, and plenty of like the big rollers and the little rollers. We're ready to paint, sir.
Dr. McGee?
Do I detect a little hoodwinkery?
Nope, no hoodwinkery
Sorry,
here.
Annie.
No hoodwinkery here. Just good old fashioned.
Want to make sure.
Roll up your sleeves and get the job done, as evident by the work orders. We're under 100.
Sure, thank you, sir.
We haven't been this low since before the pandemic. So they've done an excellent job, and I can't thank them enough.
I agree with you. Your folks need to be congratulated for all the work they've done, because you're right, this is very low to have this so few work orders. Any questions, comments for Mr. Notoriani?
Good.
Then I'll make a motion to receive and place on file the technology facilities update. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Leclerc, Mrs. Costa, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have no unfinished business. We have one item in new business, and I'll make a motion to discuss and approve adding a school committee subcommittee called District-Wide Workplace Climate and Safety Committee. Do we have a second? Mr. Leclerc seconds it. If we approve this, I would like to see this title. Maybe we can get rid of the district-wide, since all our subcommittees are district-wide committee. I think we could do that. Dr. McGee, would you like to begin this discussion? I mean, obviously, if we form this, chairman will have to appoint 2 members to the committee. But I think this is a great opportunity for us to make sure that we have communication on a district-wide level of what's happening within our schools, especially with the problems of safety for the teachers and staff in each one of our buildings.
I agree, Mr. Chairman. I think, in terms of what it's going to be called, workplace climate and culture, maybe. I'm just, that's a possibility. I think the purpose, as you said, is to bring together the school committee, representatives of the school committee, representatives of the administration, representatives of the union, teachers, I think, you know, each of the unions are important, because we have more than one.
Right.
As well as bringing in, I think, with respect to high school, a student, or two. I mean, I don't want this subcommittee to be enormous, and I think we also should have some parents represented on this subcommittee as well. And again, the purpose is to communicate challenges we have across the district with respect to behaviors. The purpose of this committee is not to discuss specific students. We obviously can't, nor would we ever do that. But certainly listening to our constituents, our teachers and our staff, so that we, you know, are informed and the committee's informed, so that, you know, we can make decisions moving forward, so that it doesn't get to a situation where, you know, we have 100 or so staff members expressing their concern.
Any other discussion? Vice Chair Burke?
I think this committee is a good idea because what it does, it will allow the dialogue that we talked about at the last school committee meeting.
Right.
The dialogue to exist between school committee, WED, administrations, teachers, so on and so forth. So it's good to have that open dialogue.
Anyone else? Mrs. Kepiscus?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My thoughts were, I don't want to poo-poo this. I'm not poo-pooing this. I think we need to have a dialogue, but I want to make sure that everyone goes into it with their eyes open. We cannot invent ways to get rid of disruptive students. I just want everyone to be aware of that. Staff, parents, students. There are laws in place that control when and where we can get rid of students. And there is no permanent getting rid of any student. We can suspend them for specific behaviors when they're a threat to themselves or others, but we cannot permanently remove a student from a school environment. So I don't want anybody coming in with the delusion that the school committee has some sort of magic wand they're going to wave and solve the problem. We can't. This is a problem nationwide. I do think it's important to sit and have a dialogue so that everyone can feel heard and come up with ideas, even if it ends up with us lobbying RIDE or lobbying the General Assembly to make some changes to give the school department some sort of authority. It's still going to be the school department, not the school committee. We have policies in place that control what student discipline is, and those policies remain in place, as does state law. But do I think the discussion is essential? Absolutely. And I think having that discussion might prevent the sort of bubbling up of emotion that we absolutely saw at our last school committee meeting, which was uncomfortable for both sides, I think. It was certainly uncomfortable sitting up here, even more so as I sat here and thought, well, what can we do? What can we do to help them? And hopefully this committee might lead us to have a better idea of what that discussion can look like.
I think this committee, I agree with you, has to follow up the laws, the policies that are in place. That's what you use to implement whatever action that's going to be taken place. But I think this committee is getting reports from the individual buildings, the individual principals and their teams, because what was that obvious to me last time at our last school committee, it seemed there was evidence that things were happening in the schools and we didn't know about it. No one knew about it. And it was occurring and it had gone on for a bit of time, for quite some time, with no action taken. And that could be a misconception, but if each school has its own committee to deal with it, to communicate and to identify the problems timely and exercise the processes that are in place, that's going to go a long way at each individual school. And then the district-wide committee is going to be, we're going to get communication as to what's happening. So hopefully no balls get dropped. Any other thoughts? Mrs. Costa?
I completely agree with what Ms. Kepiscus said. And I mean, I would love to be a part of the subcommittee for something like that because I think it is very important.
Let's go through a vote for the committee, if there's no other comments, and then, because chairman makes the appointments. Dr. McGee, roll call.
Chairman Bourget,
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke.
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
Yes.
Mrs. Costa.
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Yes.
I want to thank you for, volunteering for the committee, but in thinking this over some time, I would like to I'd like to appoint Mrs. Kepiscus and Mr. Leclerc to the committee with Mr. Leclerc as chair. Can we have a vote on that?
I accept.
You accept? Mrs. Kepiscus, you accept?
Sure.
Sure.
Can you say it loud? I want to make sure.
Sure.
Thank you.
That's
Back
a
to you.
yes.
Chairman Bourget.
Yes.
Vice Chair Burke.
Yes.
Mrs. Kepiscus.
Should I vote?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if I should be
Yeah,
voting.
yeah,
It
yeah,
seems
you vote.
inappropriate. Yes, I'll vote for Mr. Leclerc.
Mrs. Costa.
Yes.
Mr. Leclerc.
Oh, yes.
Thank you all. No other items on our agenda. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:16 PM. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Leclerc. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.